This can be a really cool way of going ahead and making some money Airbnb without actually having to own or buy a house. Wow, that's crazy.
Can we take it home?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure. Alright, just got to our first Airbnb room. This is our little room here. Let me show you guys something. Got our private porch. We're in Saco, Maine. Today I wanted to talk about a few different ways of house hacking. So I've already talked about house hacking the traditional way, which is what I am doing personally, of buying a multifamily and living in one unit and having the other ones pay your rent. But today I wanted to talk about specifically Airbnb and how you can take advantage of that. Now I know this is not going to work for everyone. A lot of people don't want to have people in their houses, or they don't want to deal with, you know, having different people in there all the time. They want to have one steady tenant that they can just let be. So it really depends on your circumstances and the type of house you have and your location, and if that's something you want to do, but it's good to know your options. So I'm going to go over a few of them here today, and hopefully they can help you guys out. You guys can take advantage of one of them to make a little extra money for yourself. So my wife and I are in Saco, Maine. We are staying at a bed and breakfast. So pretty much they have a seven room house here that's an old Victorian, and they're renting out each room individually because they're able to make more money that way than renting it out as an entire house. Especially since they have a great location for tourists. They're right next to Old Orchard Beach and some other stuff. So it really just depends on your location and what type of place you have. And your personal preferences, but it's definitely good to know all of your options. So another way of doing this would be, my brother has a duplex. So he's renting out the top story and he's living in the bottom story, and he has 3 bedrooms down in his story. So he could go ahead and Airbnb out those other 2 rooms. Right now he's looking for roommates instead because he's next to a college, but depending on where you're at, if you're next to an airport or if you're in the city, it might be better to go ahead and Airbnb out those other rooms to make probably more money than you can renting them. So another way of doing this is if you have a few extra bedrooms. For instance, my parents have extra bedrooms since all the kids have moved out. They could go ahead and Airbnb that out when they want to, and then go ahead and keep the whole house for themselves when they want to as well. So it's a more flexible way of making some extra money just by utilizing the bedrooms that you already have. So another very creative way of doing this is going ahead and leasing or renting an apartment and then Airbnb out for more than you are paying for the rent. So as long as your landlord or whoever you're renting it from knows and is okay with this and the building allows this can be a really cool way of going ahead and making some money Airbnb without actually having to own or buy a house. So the idea here is you go ahead and you rent something for like $1,000, and then you go ahead and, if you know your market and stuff, you might be able to Airbnb it out for $1,500 a month, and then you just make that $500 profit, and you go ahead and, you know, pay your rent like normal. So as long as that's allowed, that was a really strategic and cool way to make money with Airbnb. So another way of doing this would be going ahead and, if you're on vacation or you're away, you could always Airbnb out your house just for that 2 weeks or just for that weekend while you're away to help pay for your traveling. So that's a really cool way of utilizing an empty house that's just sitting there anyways. For instance, if me and my wife, when we go to Greece in a couple months here, if we wanted, we could go ahead and Airbnb out our house just for that week or that 2 weeks, and that could help pay for most of the trip. So it really depends on where you're at. All right, we are doing what any 2 mature adults would do. When you come into an empty house that you have all to yourself, and it's antique and it's full of rooms and it's 3 floors, and you've been here for 10 minutes, we are playing hide and seek, so I'm gonna go find Meredith. We'll start on the first floor.
feels like at some point someone else is gonna show up and we're gonna get in trouble. This is difficult. Dear. Thanks, dear. You win. We'll try again. We got shrimp pad thai, and Meredith got a pizza. Eat it, and then watch football, and go to bed.
Maybe watch a movie.
Maybe.